Hi, my name is Sam and I want to talk to you about life. It's my anniversary. And no, I'm not talking about my long-time non-existent relationship with Grammy-nominated singer Lauren Daigle. Now, 2 years ago, I moved here from the Washington, D.C. area to kind of just start my life over. What was the reason for that? Well, 2 years ago, on December 14th, 2016, a friend of mine called me out on some things that I didn't see in myself. This close friend of mine was somebody I really respected and cared for. And so when they pointed out some things that were inconsistent in my life, it really triggered me to have to recognize what is important to me, what is really true. So after a week of just soul searching, I came down to two conclusions. One, I couldn't continue to live the life I was living. And two, I needed to start over. And I wanted to do that here because that's where she was, and she was cute. She still is cute, I think. Or she still is. She's not dead. Oh, that'd be sad. Before moving out to Portland, I was finishing up a master's degree in Bible studies, needing only my thesis to be completed. I was so certain in what I believed in. I was a walking systematic theology textbook. And now I look back and realize how foolish that was. I had to figure out, am I lying to myself? Yes, I do believe in absolute truth, but I know myself, I fail. And I will never achieve absolute knowledge. And so I began to look at Jesus. Here I was studying him, being so certain of what I believed in. I look back at what he did during his place in history and how he approached it. The people in Jesus' day had such certainty of what they believed. They had broken everything down into a list of laws of how things worked. If this, then that. Yet Jesus usurped all their thinking and demonstrated that they could never understand the complexity of an all-powerful, all-knowledgeable, eternal God. Yet here I was with my textbooks and all my good thinking, living in America, figuring all these things out, knowing all the answers. But then I began to realize I wasn't too different from those people 2,000 years ago, breaking everything down to the right answer. I'm not saying that what I believed was wrong back then. I've come to a place where I've accepted that I'm going to be wrong about some things. And that should make me humble. Ever since moving to Portland, I have been searching for truth. And there's a lot of different thoughts on truth. And there's a lot of different words for truth. There's veracity, facts, reality, real, veritas. My favorite word for truth actually comes from the Greek. That word is aletheia. This word was used by Aristotle and other philosophers to describe the meaning of something that's been revealed, that's been open, that's been made known and clear. The opposite of aletheia would be obscurity, darkness, or something that's hidden. The idea behind it is that nature itself has order to it, that there are laws that govern reality. And to this line of thinking, truth is synonymous with reality. Now, of course, in all things in philosophy, the idea is much more complex and than we really have time to get into. And I might be completely off. And this is the word the New Testament writers use when describing truth. In fact, when quoting Jesus, they use the phrase, ego eimi hodos kai aletheia kai zoe. I am the way, the truth, and the life. The idea behind this is that Jesus is saying, I am the source of all reality. Now, this is a bold statement. What he is saying here is he is the foundation of all reality. I'm not looking to discuss that claim, but I do believe that no person living today can claim that. I believe that absolute truth does exist. This is not a popular belief. Most people believe that truth today is subjective. And what they mean by that is that I do not want to hold anything tightly because I'm afraid of being wrong. or I don't want anybody to judge me for what I believe. And certainly there are things out there that make us question our reality. The Heisenberg principle has the ability to give anybody an existential crisis. But I don't really agree with the idea that no one should be held accountable for their truth. If me living out my truth means identifying as a cannibalistic 12-year-old girl who runs around and dresses up as a dog on the weekends, somebody should probably call me out on that. We live in a society that is afraid of confrontation. We're afraid of looking at things in truth. Because we're afraid of ruffling people's feathers, we actually become afraid of reality. But to err is to be human. Now, if that is true, then we should all just accept that sometimes we're just gonna be wrong. I mean, let's face it, we all have those moments where you look back and you're like, that decision was a little sketch. Definitely shouldn't have done that. You know, you paid for that gym membership thinking you were gonna go every morning. Yeah. There's about $45 you're not seeing every month for the next little while. Reality says we all fail. We all miss the mark. This is what levels the playing field for everybody. It's what unites us. Oftentimes, doesn't do that. We point at each other's flaws and we're afraid of them. But because we all fail, then the application of recognizing that we all fail has the ability to set us free. If we all fail, then failure cannot define us. And if it can't define us, then we shouldn't be afraid of it. As a manager, I feel like I fail every day. The fear of failure oftentimes holds me back from leading like I should. It feels like every time I fail publicly, it's multiplied by the number of people who have seen that failure. So if I fail by myself, nobody knows about it. But if I fail in front of my entire team, there's 35 times that I failed in front of them. But failure does not make someone unique. Failing in front of my team stinks. But if I'm not defined by my failure, then I can learn from it and grow from it. One of the things that a friend said to me the other day is we need to find meaningful failure, where you recognize that something wasn't done right, but it helps you see how you can do it better. Failure frustrates me, and I don't like it. But why am I surprised by my failure? It doesn't make me a failure, but recognizing that failure helps me to commit to using that truth to better my life. Now, truth frees us from failure, but it doesn't ignore it. Too many people are not only afraid of failure, but they are afraid of recognizing it. When we ignore the past, we remain completely incapable of bettering our future. The past shapes the present, but it doesn't define it. We define the present. With the information that we gain from our failures and the shortcomings of those around us, we're then able to commit to overcoming and correcting those failures and shortcomings. The pain of my past becomes the catalyst to my future. A lot of people have a hope to better the future, but they aren't using the information that they can gain from the failures of the past. They didn't look at what was wrong. There are other people who recognize what was wrong and dwell on it and never get over it to better the future. Now, having these realizations are important, but they hurt. But this is the only way to really heal. We commit too much energy to bandaging problems rather than healing them. I mean, look at history. Mankind has had its fair share of mistakes. This country has done a lot of great things, but it's also full of failures. The way to right those mistakes is not to condemn them and dwell on them, but to use those lessons to define our choices for today. If Hitler had learned from Napoleon's invasion of Russia, then we wouldn't have had Stalingrad. Or, like, when was the last time you ate at Taco Bell? If you've eaten there multiple times, that's a mistake you probably should have learned from. That's a mistake that really no one should make twice. Now, If failure is a certainty of life, if it is part of my truth or my reality, then I'm bound to be wrong. I'm gonna get a $5 box from Taco Bell and the caramel apple empanada. Hey, I might be wrong about Aristotle. I might be wrong about how good Peter Capaldi is as Doctor Who. But recognizing that failure is a part of life helps me recognize when I'm wrong. I'm really struggling and really working on this in my own life. I'm coming to terms with this. My hands are open and reaching out, learning how to live with doubt, learning how to lean into the gray. The truth is, I've hurt a lot of people by my own certainty. Sometimes I forget that I can be wrong. What I love about Jesus is that he believed to hold the source of truth. He continually demonstrated his understanding of truth and illustrated to the people of his day their own lack of truth. But when I look at how he approached it, he didn't really argue. You either believed him or didn't. Being right wasn't what was important to him. People were important to him. Every single person he interacted with was flawed and broken. But to him, each one of them was a distinct, unique individual that was deserving of love. So, going back to the question, am I lying to myself? The answer is yes. That's okay. I'm going to be wrong. What I want to make matter to me is, do I love? Do I show the people around me that they matter to me, whether I agree with them or not? More important than being right is being loved. Well, I want to talk to you about something I love. That is this shirt. And it says never stop fighting. And I just love that because I don't think we should ever give up hope. So it's a shirt I wear all the time. I'm going to link it in the description. Buy 1, 2, or 3. A friend of mine personally makes these shirts. These shirts are like shop towels. You never know when you're going to need them if you're robbing a bank. Also, there's a video down there about the truth of whether or not water is wet. And I know you guys are all truth seekers, so go check it out. Let me know if you like this video. Hit the like button down there. If you didn't like it, you can hit the dislike button. I will find you. It's okay. If you want to hear more, get consistent, hit the subscribe button. Every time I release a video, you'll see it. The bell notification will alert you as well. I know I was a little late on this one. A lot happened in the last few weeks. Moved twice, hence the different room. Became really allergic to the first room. I still hope to make videos every week. But what's more important to me is the quality of these videos. Ultimately, I want to hear from you. Have a discussion with you. Tell me what you think in the comments. What do you think about absolute truth? How does it affect your life? What do you do with the truth that you know? Hey, my name is Sam. Thanks for listening. Once again, I hope you catch flame.